So move with that correction.
Yeah.
All right, is there a second?
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
For Madonna Durin, am I saying that right? In the court clerk's office?
Correct.
Everything in order?
Yes, sir.
Move we approve her.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Roddy Cole, District 2 employee, I'll move the item.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
And then to receive our prepared report from
Linda.
Is she here?
Linda.
Is she here?
No, she's not here. Marcia, she won't be here today.
Okay. Well, is there a motion to receive it?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
And then action to approve payment for $5,000 for that report.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
And then action for a judgment rendered against the Board of County Commissioners in the amount of $30,000 in Holland versus the County Commissioners.
Chairman, we'd ask that be deferred 1 month.
Ask why?
Paperwork's not finished.
Do we know that, Mark?
No, sir.
You sure keep us in that loop if you would, please, since we're the one writing the check.
There's no paperwork finished to write a check for.
Okay.
A motion to defer for 1 month.
Second. I'm sorry.
Have you got something that's already been done that we need to?
There's nothing that has been done that all we've done is just isolate the $30,000 in preparation to purchase it, but
Okay,
from a liquidity standpoint, it's okay.
all right. There's been a motion, is there a second?
I'll second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
And our Oki report. Danny?
It's Danny Oki.
Good afternoon. All right, we ended the month of August with $166,000 in this account. Forfeitures for the month of August were $79,000. Just averaging out the rest of the year, estimate we'll bring in about $820,000 based on the first 2 months, and then the average from last month's year, and then we'll end the year with about $657,000. Just a reminder, last year we moved $800,000 into the old plan from the forfeitures. Obviously, doesn't look like we're gonna have that much to move over this year. The county budget board has already approved moving $400,000 from general fund, so to keep us at that $1.2 million like we were last year, because last year we moved $800,000 plus the $400,000 from general fund over to the old plan for a total of $1.2. You could be looking at $400,000 or $500,000 this year out of the forfeitures. They've already committed $400,000 from general funds, so to get to that $1.2 million, there'd have to be more money come from general fund.
But, however, the $400,000 we've actually got in this year's budget, as opposed to in the past where we relied upon the reserve account.
That's correct.
And so this year, to me, we're $400,000 ahead right now of where we've ever been, which I think is good. It is good. It is good. And, and certainly, and we still got a sizable reserve fund right now, so which I think we'll be able to look to the reserve fund certainly as the fiscal year continues to add to that 400. But we got 400 that we budgeted from day one this time. Before, again, we'd always put it on the unfunded. And we've been able to fund it through the unfunded. But this way, we got 400 up front, and then plus whatever else we'll take out of the reserve as we go along.
Correct. We have seen a draft of the actuary. They're working on the final copy, so that'll be on next month's agenda where they make a recommendation for our funding level. And the gentleman that's been here the last couple of years, Dan Holman, who prepares actuary, hopefully he'll be here next month at the retirement board.
Okay, so the actuarial that was part of the audit we just approved was last year's actuarial.
No, those are the numbers from the actuary on the audit report. But you're going to actually get the actuary report with the recommendations next month.
Okay.
Yes.
And it's gonna drop, you're saying? So it'd be more actually sound than it was before?
Less, from what I've seen, the first draft, yeah.
It's just
So how much
almost right.
above the $400,000 we have allocated do you think we're gonna need?
Well, to stay at the same level we were last month, or last year, 1.2 million, so
243,000.
we're looking at another 400,000 from general, on top of what was already done.
Okay.
Stay at the same level.
Danny, in our objections and stuff, last year was probably, at the end of last year was the lowest we dropped in the forfeiture account. Is there a target that we don't want to go below? Obviously, you can't go below zero, but where's the target level that we need to stay at?
Yeah, I think that's up to this board, but that's coming pretty close, 28,000. I would say, you know, like, try to keep it around 100,000 in balance in there, because you don't know, I mean, the fees are pretty.
They're running around 50,000 a quarter.
Yeah, I was gonna say, Butch, I don't think it's on our watch list, so we need to get that on there.
That's not a bad idea, yeah, because I don't think it's not on mine.
The mutual fund fees of 33, so 16, so it's about 50,000 a quarter that we're spending, 198,000 a year. So there has to always be $198,000 in the forfeiture account in any one given year. We have to, basically, if we had zero money, we would have to get $198,000 in forfeitures just to pay the mutual fund fees.
That's correct. To use the forfeitures to pay the fees, otherwise.
But right now, the forfeitures are paying the mutual fund fees. The other fee is paid out of general fund, right?
That is correct.
It appears that in FY 17, we had the lowest forfeitures that we've had, based on your chart, we've had ever, of the 735 versus usually nothing less than about almost 900. So if forfeitures run true to what your schedule is, we're going to probably need to leave, the only amount that's available is about 500,000 in round numbers, 550 available to move over to the defined benefit plan over the next year, if your forfeiture schedule's right and the cash flow's about right. Again, it means that the budget's got 400,000 in it, if you're only at 920, you're still out of control, right?
And that's why I think the chairman's talking about, we need to go ahead and get that identified as soon as we can to show it on the watch list now. We're still, I remind you, we're still a step ahead of what we've been in past years. We got 400,000 plus now, we'll add whatever a figure on the watch list.
I also noticed that based on, when I was going back into the consent docket, I also looked back and saw how much money was coming out of the plan every month, which has been dropping dramatically, because again, sad to say, but that list is dying off. And that's not being facetious, it's actually the list is dying off. And 4 years ago, we were over 200,000 a month, now we're down to 139 a month. And again, this year it probably will drop some more. So what we're saying, what we're putting in now may change in a year or two because of the fluctuation, and we may get down to where it's paying out only about 100,000 a month, and once it gets below that, then it gets to be somewhat manageable in the county.
Okay, also, in those stats of the audit that we just approved, I'm sure you probably noticed that there was, I guess I could refer to the exact page, but there was like, what, Mark, 129 or something like that. But to me, the next two figures are the most important. There's only 11 that we know of that are waiting, that have no longer employees, but are not retirement eligible yet. And we've only got one current employee, since this is a closed system, that will not grow. We've only got one current employee still on the DB plan. So that goes back to what Keith was just saying. That's why that plan is a decreasing plan. Dying off plan.
And as we say, what we want to have in there, the very last dollar goes to the very last participant as the very last payment at the time it all happens. So at some point, even if it sounds crazy, at some point the county will need to take over the plan. Once we deplete all the cash, we're hoping that there's down to 1 or 2 people left at that point. None of us will be around when that happens, but we get down to that point, and the county will pay that out, so the county doesn't put any more money in the DD plan and pays it direct. Equivalent, with the equivalent, because you don't want to leave any money on the ground on that deal.
Further questions of Danny? Robbie?
Motion,
Is there a second? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any board comments? Ed? Sheriff? Treasurer? Steve?
I won't be here next month because I'm going to go see my new grandson, so I won't be here.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Yeah, first and only, right now.
Really? Your grandkids are God's gift to you for not killing the kids when they were teenagers.
No, I'm already getting back on it. This one's a crier. He came a month early, so he's been a little bit of a crier, so it's getting payback times, which I keep telling my son. It's fine. It's kept me awake.
Mr. Lilly?
This is
Okay, any citizens to be heard? If not, is there any new business? If not, is there a motion to adjourn?
Moved.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.